So I guess starting the second turn, I guess, of this Galactic Destiny game and rolling my sleeves up. I'm in the cold room, but I've got the door kind of open, letting some heat in. Okay, so the first thing in each turn is to draw the galactic events. And let's pull 3 of them and see what we get. Alright, first one. Draft. All fleets have their cost reduced to 2 money for this turn. The cost can't be reduced any further except by other event cards. Okay, that's cool. Year of Abundance. Each party immediately gains an additional 10 money. I'll just mark that here. I don't know how much that matters, except that it gives people, well, it's money, so that, you know, it gives people a chance to build things. I was thinking influence, because if they compete, they'll just be going against each other. But it's going to allow people to kind of kickstart their position a little more. And finally, each fleet gets 2 dice against the Kira, or Kira, or whatever this turn. I guess that's when, if you're doing an invasion of one of their territories. Now, they don't have any right now, and nobody has any shadow or anything. Now we get 3 sectors. Again, excuse me, they're in problem, and there's sector 33, 17, and 20. Now these are ones that can have an election campaign in them. So let's see if we get that 10 or more to see what I put down, right? Because none of the cards, I believe, have anything to do with this. I know roll for infestation wouldn't happen now. Well, yeah, let me make sure, because maybe somebody will get a card that matters for this. Okay. So we got 33, 17, and 20. Let's see where those are. 17 is here. Oop. 20 is here. And 33. 33 is his. He's up for election. Now, if nobody does anything about it, it'll end up being, you know, staying his and flip over. But right now, there can be a campaign against white there, and that's kind of a problem for them. And now I can just put these aside. They've got the information on them. I don't know how helpful it is to have all that information on the cards. Okay, now everybody's going to get some cards, a couple of action cards each. They can't play anything now, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to roll for that infestation now, and then I'll take care of the bookkeeping, the cards, and the resources. So the infestation, since there's no shadow counters at all, is just on a 10 or more. Oh, well, that's a problem. Okay, so we go to those elections, and they're now infested. I'm not sure about this one. If somebody conquers it, they take it. So white has just lost their province. Now, they should have some advantages to getting this one back, if I can remember them. But yeah, that's kind of a problem. Alright, I'll hand out the cards, and white may be in a lot of trouble. So in the voting this turn, it was passed to send the entire Republic fleet to go take out this infestation. Taking this one out seemed scary. Purple's in the lead, or one of the leading players, with 2 provinces now. And it would be easier for them to campaign there, so people were kind of loath to give them that advantage by taking it out, because it does become an easier thing. They might be able, with their heavier fleets, to actually take 2 of the 3 provinces that were up for this turn. The other side of the coin now is a proposition that white put forward, which is that everybody pay 1 per province they own to build new fleets for the Republic. And that actually passes. The only opposition were purple and yellow, who are the hardest hit on it. So everybody's going to have to pay $1 per province for fleets. I'll add that up very quickly here. 1, red has, okay, we're at 2, Oops. It's money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got some heavy money on people. And he's white. He doesn't pay. $7. Now Republic fleets cost 3 each, so they can build 2 fleets. And those couldn't be disposed of with orders. They're built in the home territory, which is fair enough. They can't really do anything. All right. And now we're ready to go into that intrigue phase, and players are going to be competing on where they put their fleets, what invasions they do, and then the campaigns that follow. Okay, so the fleets have been deployed. The white player did not like red player's invasion of his original territory, so he played a distraction card, paying for this. Players kind of have to get rid of their action cards. This is one of the problems, or else they're going to lose them. What he did was he tapped their leader, which isn't too impressive. It's just a 1-point difference there. Let's go to the red player, fight out their battle against the Kira or whatever. Now they're going to get 4 dice because of the now is the time card. And they'll be facing just 1 die plus 6. So they ended up with a total of 11. And that's a tie with a loss. They're not going to want to have this. They had some cards in hand that they had that could help with this. I don't know if these were the ones. They weren't. It's the ones down here. Ah, shit. They're going to re-roll the defender's dice. And now they've won and didn't take any losses. This doesn't cost anything. It's a pretty easy card, actually, and pretty powerful. Oops. I think this goes here. I gotta put the rest of their cards back in their hand. I dropped them on the table. This is a tough game, Solitaire, because of all the cards for all the players. Too much interaction, too many of them are interrupt type cards. Now we come to white doesn't want them to win this. So they may play that immediately after the card's been played. Well, it's impossible for me to pay attention to all of this under these conditions. They also have a twist of fate, but that's not going to help them terribly. So what they're going to do is they're going to pay the $3 for this card. They already paid some before to prevent that card from being played, but red would have played a different of the same card. Afterwards, if I can find it. And unfortunately, because the game is so much based on these cards and the interaction, it's like playing something like Cosmic Encounter, which can be fun and everything. It's not a disagreement to that, but it is making a game that I think I would really enjoy very difficult to play Solitaire. Especially on camera, though. So anyway, red has just succeeded with that attack, and they'll get a chip there, but it's still campaignable by my reading of the rules. And for that matter, white does not have their special ability, whatever that was, which is kind of shitty when you can give away action cards to try to force people to give you action cards. I'll just put that out because it's up in play kind of right now. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of the combats kind of off camera because it's just too difficult. So here after the battles, that's not right, is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, after the battles, we've got still campaignable sections that have been won. Yellow won here, even though there was an assassination attempt on them. Red, through card play, etc., managed to win here. Now those will go to the player who won militarily if nobody can win a campaign there. The assassination attempt took a lot of influence away from both purple and yellow, which is going to make it harder, but purple will probably be attempting a campaign there if they can. Other players may as well, because yellow's influence was burned on that assassination attempt. Likewise over here, white still wants that area and they have some advantages, so they're probably going to run a campaign there. But red will have significant forces to defend themselves. And then there's this free area here, the slightly higher defense than the other two areas, but it's up for grabs. You know, nobody can defend it particularly. All right, so we'll go on for that. So the results of the elections. White failed in their bid against red here, and red managed to win the bid against yellow there. So now they actually have 3 provinces under their control. Nobody took this one, although blue and green were fighting over it. They failed. So yeah, I mean, you're starting to see kind of this positioning where white now has nothing and no real hope for gaining, and red is jumping a little ahead of purple and yellow, who each have 2. So, and a couple people are kind of falling behind. Now after this we go to buying fleets and senators, and players are basically just, you know, able to buy their resources for later. Now, white's got a real problem here. They have to decide what they want to pay for, whether they want another fleet, which may be the best move because they may be stuck to invasions in order to operate. They may be looking at a rebellion at this point because there's nothing really to lose by it. They don't have any provinces. If you only have 1 or less provinces, a rebellion might not be that bad a move, except that other people can attack you as well. Well, the purchases are done, and because of that special advantage, both the Year of Abundance with all its money, but also the draft with all the fleets, a lot of fleets were built, and that's a huge advantage for the purple player, who now has 12 bucks on top of a very large fleet on the board. Now, you're only allowed 10 ships on the board at once. Poor white is still allowed to build ships, but isn't really in a position to make themselves into a power. Blue decided not to buy ships for whatever reason, instead buying a very expensive senator. Well, only 13. Some other people have bought more expensive ones, but he gives 5 extra command when fighting the Kira, which sounds cool, but that's like an extra die. It probably was a bad choice. So, you know, we're seeing some of the bigger powers putting out some pretty decent fighting forces and good senators, actually. So, like, purple was able to afford this guy who has a 7 command rating to begin with. He's only 9 bucks because he causes half casualties, which isn't a big deal against the Kira. It is maybe an issue against the other players. But blue kind of, I think, lost out by not buying some cheap fleets, even if it meant not trying to deny money to purple. Purple's now in a position with their big fleet and their big money and their big leader that they can probably do a lot of damage, although that may cause corruption if they're ending up taking the military option for it. Alright, well, that's the end of this turn, and we move on into the 3rd turn of the cycle. What's on the other side of this? Nothing interesting. And these go away, and we're coming close to actually having an election. And I'll load this one up.